Jewish society or the days of Jesus. And then you will see that the Greek, Roman cities, all of them were located in the plains, the Jewish communities on the mountains, to minimize any interaction between the two. It was a choice made by the Jewish leadership. And today, by the way, the Arabs, all of them, live on the mountains. The Jews live along the plains. So there's a very clear line that goes through Israel's history, as small as it is. Always two different civilizations. One lives on the mountains and one lives on the plains. So to our story, to speak about Abraham, for example, Isaac and Jacob, most of what the Bible tells us about the locations that they stopped and visited and lived for a while, all of it goes along this road. All right? So, as you can tell, on one side it's connected to the international, on the other one, but they try to stay away as much as possible. And this was the same situation in the days of Jesus. When Jesus was walking the hills and mountains of Galilee, as far as we know, it was not interacting with the international highway. But when he chose Capernaum to be his headquarters, it was on the main road. Because if the idea was exposure, to get to talk to as many people, because the Bible tells us in the days of Jesus that news about this spread through Syria, spread through Galilee. How did news spread before the era of Fox and CNN, etc.? If you lived on the road, you were the first one to know. So there's always a connection between the two. Please keep that in mind. Let's go further on, and I'm trying to look at the watch, and we are late. Okay. We are zooming kind of into the land of Israel, and as you will see, there are 4 areas, and then we're going to be a bit specific about each one of them. First of all, there is a coast, the coast of the Mediterranean, the coastal plains. It's quite wide down south, and as you're getting up north, it's getting more and more narrow. You do see a name that you know from the Bible, Sharon. The rose of Sharon, lily of Sharon. Well, Sharon is a little valley, which is along the coastal plains. And then you see the mountains, which are the backbone of the country, Galilee up north, the mountains of Samaria, the mountains of Judea, and the Negev mountains. Keep in mind that 70% of Israel back then was a desert. 70% of the country called Israel was a total desert. And the population in the days of Jesus is estimated to be 3.5 to 4 million people. People had to live on the water sources, like Sea of Galilee, for example. And then you have another valley, which is called the Rift Valley. This is the longest fault line in the world, by the way, 4,000 miles long. Begins in eastern Turkey and goes all the way down to the heart of Africa. And when it goes through Israel, it also has in the bottom of it the lowest place on earth, which is the Dead Sea. And we call it also the Jordan Valley. And then on the right-hand side, east, are the mountains of Transjordan, which were the dwelling place of Reuben, Gad, half of Manasseh.